Hey folks, how you doing? Dave McRae here. As you can see, I'm very... So, about a week or so ago, Steven Spielberg did a interview, I'm assuming where he was talking about Ready Player One. And in that interview, probably towards the end of the interview, he was asked whether or not he would be open to a female Indiana Jones. Now, regardless of where Steven Spielberg falls on these issues deep down inside, which could very well be the same as what he said, 100%. He said the politically correct thing, which of course was, yes, of course, 100%, absolutely. I mean, can you imagine, him going, no, I don't think there should be at all, and blah, blah. Oh my God, He said the right thing despite what he might actually feel, which again, as I said, could very well be what he said. I'm just saying. And I read that and I thought, oh, yeah, of course, yeah. And it prompted me to do this video. Now, I know I'm a little late. That was about a week or so ago, but it's been a busy last 4 or 5 days. The good kind, but really busy. So, and when I read that, I was also reminded of about a year or so ago, when when it was uncertain if Daniel Craig was going to come back to play James Bond again. Now, I believe he is. It's been confirmed that I think he'll come back one more time. But at the time, about a year or so ago, we were unsure. And it was circulating about, the idea of, what if there was a female James Bond? What about a female James Bond? And I thought, folks, look, I don't give a frog's fat ass where you fall on the political spectrum, okay? I couldn't care less. That's not what my channel's about. That's not what I discuss here. I don't care, okay? I like to look at things objectively, all right? I don't get caught up in the whole political bullshit, all right? I like to have a clear, objective view on a lot of things. And wherever I fall, I fall. But at least it's true. At least I'm not, just glomming onto something for the hell of glomming onto it. I actually feel it. I actually believe it because I've come to my own conclusion. And that's like, I'm like that with anything, okay? Especially in the entertainment industry. Just because people, a lot of people love a movie doesn't mean I'm going to like it. If I don't like it, I'll say, I don't like it. A lot of people like H2O, Halloween H2O. I don't like it. I think it's crap. So anyway, when I read that about what Spielberg said, and I was, reminded of the James Bond thing, how I feel about that is this. No, absolutely 100% no, unequivocally no. And this has nothing to do with me not believing that women should not be empowered, or there shouldn't be more female directors, or there shouldn't be more, female, superheroes, no, it has nothing to do with that. Has nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that. This is what it has to do with. And I think I certainly know my girlfriend agrees with me on this. I think most women, I would like to think anyway, I don't speak for you, but I would like to think that most women want to have their own identity in terms of what they create, the art they create. That doesn't mean they don't take inspiration from something, or they're not inspired by a character or a story or an event or whatever the case is. That's totally cool. We're always inspired. There's always going to be things that inspire us, right? Halloween was inspired by, Black Christmas and Psycho. And we know that, Friday the 13th was inspired, by the success of a low budget horror film called Halloween. Like, there's always inspirations, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But at the end of the day, we want, as artists, as filmmakers, as actors, as directors, producers, you want, unless you're doing a spoof, I would think that you would want your movie or your story or your character to have its own identity, because that's how you empower people. You give them their own identity, okay? Why would any woman want to be Indiana Jane? Why? And I think that's what Spielberg said. He said something like, well, we'd have to change it from, Jones to Jane, something like that. Maybe it wasn't Jane. But what does that mean? So you're going to have a female Indiana Jones, but she's Indiana Jane, and she's an archaeologist working at a university in the 1930s, wearing a hat and a whip and going out. And instead of a little character named Short Round, who's a little Asian boy, it's an Indian girl named Short Square or Tall Square because she's really tall. Or like, really? Like, that's lame. It's patronizing. It's condescending. It's pretentious. It's not empowering women at all. Not at all. It wouldn't be empowering anybody if the roles were reversed and it was, a guy trying to be a Lara Croft type. I'd be like, no, you have to come up with your own identity, your own character. That's how you empower people, not just women, but children and friends and family members. You give the power to them. You give it back to them. Right? The same with James Bond. I'm all for there being a James Bond kind of female character. I'm okay with that. Cool. As long as it's not Jane Bond. Okay? And she works, for the MI6 and she's, all there and she's going and she has these, romantic, rendezvous with, men and she says things like Bond, Jane Bond. I mean, what are you doing? That's not empowering women. And I would like to think most women would be like, well, yeah, that would be fun. But at the end of the day, what does that do? It doesn't do anything. It's not our own character. It's not our own identity, right? Listen, Indiana Jones was inspired by James Bond. That's why there's a lot of parallels, right? We all know that Lucas in the late 70s, early 80s, when talking to Spielberg, because Spielberg said, I've always wanted to direct a James Bond film. And Lucas was like, well, listen, I got something way better than that. I have this character named Indiana Smith. That was his real name at his real name. That was his character name at the time before they changed it to Jones. And I think he's better than Bond. It takes place in the 30s during, the swashbuckling kind of, adventure serials. And he's this archaeologist. He's got a whip and a hat and, gets himself into crazy types of situations and goes up against the Nazis and he's going after, biblical artifacts. And Spielberg was like, fuck yeah. Now, are there parallels between Jones and Bond? 100%. Now, I understand they're two male characters, okay, but stay with me, okay? I think you know what I'm trying to say. But Indiana Jones has his own identity, right? He's in his own universe with his own villains, his own character traits, his own stories. Not, he doesn't work for some spy agency and all this kind of shit. No, it's completely different. But did they take inspiration from James Bond? 100%. Can you see some of the parallels? 100%. But it's its own thing. And look how iconic he became. It's unfortunate that the Lara Croft, I think I'm saying that right. I want to say Laura Croft, but it's Lara Croft, right? I think that's it. It's too bad that the most recent film with her didn't do very well. It's too bad. And I haven't seen the film. I don't think it has anything to do with the woman who played Lara Croft. I hear that she did a great job and she looks like her. She looks more like her from the video games than Angelina Jolie did, apparently. So, and that's great. And it's too bad because for all intents and purposes, there's your female Indiana Jones. And it has nothing to do with Indiana Jones, right? She's not, an archaeologist running around with a whip and a hat getting him. No, but she's her own character with her own identity, with her own personality, going on these fun adventures, getting herself into all kinds of shit, with, sidekick characters and villains. And if the films had been really good, that would have taken off and that would have been like, yeah, cool, right? That was written for her. You're not doing something like, oh, you feel left out? Oh, you poor little thing. Oh, we have to give her a female Indiana Jones. Why would any woman, that's not empowering you. It's not empowering you. It's not empowering a little boy or girl when you do that, right? Or a friend, No, you want to give the power back to them. You want to give them their own identity. Take inspiration, sure, but write something that is original. That is unique and different to a point, obviously. That's how you do it. If you want to have a secret spy that happens to be female with the potentiality of this series that's really awesome, I'm all for that. That's great. Just as long as her name isn't, Jane Bond working for the MI6 in Britain. It's kind of like, it doesn't feel real. It's not organic. It's synthetic. It's patronizing and lame and silly. And I would like to think that most women don't want that. They want their own shit, right? They want to stand on their own 2 feet with their own characters. That we as an audience can be like, yeah, dude, you fucking knocked that out of the park. That's awesome. That's how you empower people. Okay, leave Indiana Jones where he is. It's a male character, guys. It's a male character. James Bond is a male character. If you want to create strong female characters, that's great. I'm all for that. But don't start, making female James Bonds or female Indiana Joneses or, a female Darth Vader or, create your own identity and your own villains. That's how you do it. I'm all for that. I'm all for that. But no, there shouldn't be an Indiana Jane or a Jane Bond. That's lame. It's lame. And a lot of people, including women, can see right through that shit. It's condescending. It really is. It's a bunch of things. Patronizing, condescending. It's so many different things rolled into one. Lame. So many other so many other things I could say that I'm trying to be careful. And this has nothing to do with me thinking that women should be housewives in their kitchens. Has nothing to do with that. I don't think that at all. My girlfriend is a very strong, independent woman. She's great. She's great. And I know she would look at that and go, why would I want to be Indiana Jane? That doesn't make any, what, am I his sister? Or am I, like, why are we doing that? Like, she would be all for more, no, like, create your own identity, your own story. That's what it's about. That's how you do it. That's how you progress. Okay? That's how you gain strength. You don't do that. You don't do it. I think it's lame. I think it's so important that we remember that old proverb, which is, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. That's how you empower people. My name's Dave McRae. If you want to follow me on Facebook, you can at facebook.com/manythingsdavemcrae. McRae is MCRAE. Facebook.com/manythingsdavemcrae. You can follow me there in the meantime and in between time. When I'm not posting here, that's where I tend to post. So comment below and let me know your thoughts. I'll talk to you guys soon. Cheers.